Bringing you a brand new game. It was recommended by a good friend of mine. It's called Tiny Bunny. We are going to see what this thing is all about. Alright, let's get right into it, y'all. How is everybody doing this evening? How is everyone? So this is supposed to be a horror game. We're gonna see how horrifying it really is. The wind clawed at my window all night long. It wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneery, twined in the air. Yeah, that's right. They were shouting and laughing and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Ooh, spooky, y'all. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves there was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. It's just a play of light and shadow, just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still. Hey, put away your book. Mom's saying this. I need to read who's saying things now. Mom, how many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look how slouched you are. True that. True that, Ma. True dat. She's just gonna leave whatever's on her face. She's just gonna leave that there, and she's yelling at him for reading. Oh, so I have an option to hide the book. I think that's my only option, right? Yes. Hide the book. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya, I'm assuming that's the sister, had already finished her breakfast, I know it's all over her face, and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials. Mom, you're not going anywhere until you finish all of that. I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night in the black forest around our house and the gloomy wind. The longer I waited... Sorry about that, y'all. The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Kotsiao Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is, or how cold the black forest is at night. Spoon fell out of my hand. Yeah, we saw. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes. What did I just say? I'll get it. Anton is our name. Sorry, y'all, I didn't say Anton first. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. Intense scene, y'all. Intense scene. What is this carved on the other side of the table? Kapna. Okay, so he's saying it. That's supposed to be an R? No, he's just saying it not how it's spelled. Karina. Oh, that's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal, damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No, she's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was my mom afraid of the dark back then? Or the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Grandma, Taiga is a special place, little girl. It's watching you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you are a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. Oh my gosh. And that would be it. Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore, but she did scare the crap out of her kids. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations. Our parents used to love each other back then. Well, that's sad. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket, and she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet patiently. It was black upholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive, only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland critter. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There was a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass. That's pretty cool. Olya, look, it's a fox, Anton says. Where? She says. It almost looked like those optical illusion things that they put in the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision a little bit and look under us at a certain angle. Anton, not outside, on the window. Anton, look, there's the nose, and there's... Mom, hey, eat up. Yes, just a moment, Anton says. Olya, I don't see anything. Mom, hurry up, there's not much left. Olya, there it is, but it still doesn't look like one. Anton, I'm telling you it does. Olya, nuh-uh. Anton, it does. Mom, stop. Stop it, these kids, I swear. Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty pattern similar to stretched out nettle leaves kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, come on, shave it off, it stings. This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something. Oh, give me a sec, y'all. Olya always covers her ears whenever she hears something like, what's the point in all this, though? Through the wall. It's all for your sake, Dad would reply, for the sake of our family. I'd always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. Yeah, obviously we all know what that is. I don't even want to finish it, he's so afraid. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken to two different families. Now you guys, I just gotta preference this, the divorce rate right now in California is 75%, so like, this kid's living a pretty nice life if he's able to shield himself from that. Olya, anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. Dad, you and your owl talk again. Olya, you said you believed me just yesterday. Dad, Has anybody seen my car keys? Dad also. I remember leaving them on the windowsill. Mom. Right. Maybe you did and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of 2, and still. Dad. Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Mom. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. She knew where the keys were the whole time, of course. Dad. Well, thank you very much. Dad. Anton, stop making a martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. Olya. And the owl? Dad. There was no owl. Olya. But there was one. And it had giant glowing eyes. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands over her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers the size of an apple each. Dad. Last year you had a babai in your closet and now this owl? I'm not sure what. Olya. But I saw it. Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support. Dad, have you thought about befriending it? Dad also. You know, like feeding it with an imaginary mice? Mom, don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's little. Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing with the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and this theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on incredibly worn-out cassette tape, which Dad had already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example, but how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved into the living room and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn and curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. So this explains what age group these people grew up in, which makes real sense. Cartoons helped to take her mind off all the troubles we had with the move and our parents. Ooh, spooky. And then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every little trick to get rid of these ridiculous fears. Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious? Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. It was a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led into a classroom full of kids, but all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and a pair of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the flat black silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down, stomp on me with their bloodied shoes? The dang school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. It doesn't really matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were already itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. I felt the glasses I wore made me an outsider or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to hang them. Drawing was the only thing that made me happy as of late. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagined Mom picking up on the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagined my future classmates lying in their beds just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows. Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little, and now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with a neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all awoke during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my deceased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaky, rusting drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was in fact hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind of the creaking old house and my thoughts too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself the music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there amidst the cold, snowy night, right? This is intense, y'all. Alright, let's look out the window. It's really cold. Someone was dancing in the field. What the? Black silhouettes I could barely make out with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into the piles of snow, rolled around and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment and then coming back again. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped. The dancing shadows froze in place and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. Oh my gosh. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like a bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back towards the bed. That's intense, y'all. They saw me. A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with a blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear locked my muscles. I remembered the funeral, my grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs. Whoa. Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets and she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spell she taught me throughout the whole procedure. She taught you spells, kiddo? Come on now, man. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to the squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. Anton, on the island of Bayan. Bayan? Bayan. I'm gonna call it Bayan. Underneath the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. There lay lard and ashen hair for the spawn from the devil's lair, to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Evil leave this house must. The force is strong with this one, y'all. Ashes to ashes and dust to dust. Okay, it rhymes, so now it makes sense. Fine. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the bed and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he was looking for someone. Anton, ashes to ashes. Anton again, dust to dust. I hugged my knees, placing my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness, and then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more, and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of a doorway. Toonie. Hey Romeo, what's going on, buddy? It was as if the night itself was calling out to me, flapping its black wings. Happy holidays, buddy. Good to see you in here, man. I appreciate you stopping in. Flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole. Tony. I guess that's like slang for Anton. My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me, Tony, you asleep? My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Anton, Olya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and struck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry. It's there again, staring at me, she says. Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared. The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. Anton, it was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. Olya sobbed. She was trying her best to believe me, but was I sure myself? Anton, I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you? Olya, why does the Sleeping Beauty have a prince and all I have is this scary bird? That question took me by surprise. Anton, alright, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and a long ashen hair. Olya, Tony, you coming? Anton, yes, just a moment. Oh my... Got me. Full on got me, y'all. Full on got me.
Anton, yes, just a moment. Oh my.
And my hair on my arms is also standing up, like, aced it. Like, perfect. Very well done. That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Okay, so that was his nightmare. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? Anton, we don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have come from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. Hey! Thank you for that lurk, Matt. Good to see you, buddy. My mind was urging me to hide, in the closet, under the table, behind the curtains where Olya always hides. Mom, Tony, come here. I felt like nettle bells? I don't know, nettle bells, we're gonna go with that. I felt like nettle bells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars, worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Anton, hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. Mom, a boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. Look at this, please. Have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. There was a ginger boy around the age of elementary school pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. Anton, no, I haven't. Policeman, are you sure? Look closely. Anton, where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Policeman, well, maybe you've seen him from the window. Mom, that's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything, Anton says. Policeman, I see. He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. He knows you lying. He's a policeman. Come on. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason. Policeman, how do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Mom, bit by bit, it's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Policeman, misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Mom, yes, everything is alright, thank you. The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Anton, can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy to end his unpleasant conversation sooner. Policeman, now that I think about it, you just look like one of my nephews, little fella. He's a witty boy around your age, wears the same type of goggles, haha. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in a police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people, just like me, see? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a police officer stood before me. Policeman, you know what? Little boys like you should stay at home, steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. You don't say. Policeman, oh well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy? Anton, 6th. Policeman, have you made any friends here so far? Anton, not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Policeman, then I'll leave you my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The policemen were gone, along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being alone. There, for some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I went missing? Would they cry and thrash around hysterically, or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Anton, Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Mom, seems like it, poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police UAZ drove off towards the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill. I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people, and after a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any complicated case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led into the forest, and then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy, and I'll get a reward. Oya will be so happy. And not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. By the way, anyone watching, the D word is divorce. I fantasized about buying Oya Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. A whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us, but nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. Anton, I'm going outside. Mom, yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse echoed through the hallway. Anton, I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Mom, did you hear what I just said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Ooh, okay, so this is the first, like, big decision. Wait, we can look under the stairs, go into the kitchen, or go to the front yard. I kind of want to disobey, but I'm gonna look in here first. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe, and Olya can't even be lured to close it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see it. There was nothing but cobwebs and Dad's tools and scratched walls, but she still didn't believe me. And I like to hide in the closet and listen to Olya count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me. And then drag her feet on the creaky floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den. Okay, so there's an axe in there. That's pretty useful information. I'm not even gonna go to the kitchen, y'all. We going outside. Sorry, Mom. Anton, I will whip you if you make a single step out that door. I need to distract Mom somehow or I'll get schooled and my butt whipped with Dad's leather belt. What's this? Oh, I can investigate things. This cross had seen so many people long ago in this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. After Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm, but she cut herself with the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left in its rightful place. That's funny. Is there anything else I can say? Oh yeah, I can investigate a bunch of stuff, y'all. What's this? My parents prohibit me from making long distance calls. From time to time I really want to hear from my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imaging the wind howling on the ice-laden chords. Okay. I can't... No. I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical 9 letters, the name of Philistine deity that protected them from viper bites that had a nickname, the Lord of Flies. Second letter is E. Okay, let's open the fridge. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olya here, but now I can only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelemni. I grew to hate them already. How can we distract her, y'all? Let's see what date it is. The decrypt and stain cover the calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in Grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the children so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now, since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a ferry. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log cannot escape. I crumpled the gray leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotted paper. Oh, okay, now we can investigate a gang of stuff. The side of an ocean freezer was checkered with my childish drawings from Mom's recipe and Mom's recipes of all kinds of stickers from the bubblegum with dinosaurs that Olya liked so much. Among that still life picture hung a piece of ruled paper with the phone number of the police officer who visited us, First Lieutenant Tikhonov. I'm gonna butcher that multiple times. I read inside my mind, looking at the officer's sprawling handwriting. A scrap of paper was held by 2 pieces of a broken magnet from some old Soviet's toy, and those pieces just barely covered up the numbers as if to taunt me. I leaned towards it to unveil the mystery and take the piece to a safer place where it would wait for its time when I would finally find Bova and be the first to call the police with the happy news. Mom, Anton! Mom's reproachful eyes stared at me. Mom, what do you need it for? Hands off, you'll lose it. Angering my mom was the last thing I wanted to do, so I lowered my hand. Gotta, find a stun grenade to where we can get outside. Emirkom of Russia had declared the state of emergency due to adverse weather conditions. According to the weather forecast, a cyclone is moving towards the region. Expect heavy snowfall and blizzards and snowdrifts on the road. Keep your eyes open and take care of yourself. Okay. Gotta distract her somehow. Maybe if I play with this axe. Mom, Anton, get your butt out of the closet immediately. Okay. Wait, I can inspect this. I think I have to inspect things. Mom's peg top, a family relic. Mom played with it when she was little, then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belonged to her now. She stared at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something, a fairy tale or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a little bit too old for the squeaky peg top. Oh no, y'all, can I inspect the light? Gotta be able to light something on fire. Something. Can't go that way. I already inspected this, right? Oh, this is to just skip, like, an interaction of some kind. I already inspected that. I inspected this. Oh, maybe we haven't. Oh wait, I don't have anything to inspect in here, right? Not holding anything in our hands. Can't answer the riddle, so it's not that. It doesn't look like I can inspect anything in here. I will never touch it again, he says. I gotta get that phone number too. I don't know, any suggestions, y'all? I inspected, I think... Your hands off the phone. Not sure, y'all, I'm stuck. I'm stuck here, y'all. Oh wow, okay, this gives us a glossary, that's nice. Baba, in Slavic folklore, a nocturnal spirit used by parents to threaten their ill-behaving children. UAZ, Soviet and Russian off-road freight passenger car brand, which was produced in the I know, I'm not even gonna try. Okay, so this is like primarily a Russian game, y'all. I inspected everything. I don't see anything. Anything that I can inspect. I can't inspect while mom's yelling at me. This has to be openable for a reason, like... Right?
Машина, в которой он находился, была...
Oh, I can click on things that don't have options.
Куплю жене сапоги.
Это просто, Леня. АО ММС.
Try on some jams and then we'll just dip. It was difficult to lie to mom. Okay, so we selected mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Anton, Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there's stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Mom, oh, you're killing me here. So, have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? I told you the kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Anton, maybe it's just the settings. Please go see for yourself. Mom, strange, it worked fine in the morning. Anton, maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands and cleaned off her apron and went to Olya's room. Bye-bye. Later. We out with the quickness, y'all. I opened the front gate and went to the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I crossed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. That's sad, y'all. This is sad. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and the belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous, I'm gonna have to look that word up later, needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickling branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy branches. It's the dude's glove. Go grab that, kid. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird from among the hungering semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find this lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout. Looked like it came from over the river. How did it look? You mean it sounded like? Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally and toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a person, dude. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. Just grab that glove, because it's really bothering my OCD, kid. Just grab the dang thing. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from the thicket, and I'd sprint, but nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Runaway take. Dude, you're just gonna run away? No, go into the forest and grab that thing. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Never mind. Bova. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. If this is what he's seeing, I probably wouldn't take the glove. I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder, the branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny spring between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. Bro. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust and fear of hepatitis C. Oh, it doesn't say that, y'all, but he really should be cautious about hepatitis C. Red. The sound of crackling branches invading the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew throughout my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket, be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably of reason. It gave me the strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. I felt like the sound came from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing, a hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from the under the windfall. How far are you from your house, bruh? Hurry, run, don't look back. I felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became vicious like quicksand. Like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. Yep, the pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump, and from there I ran into my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the wood with his paws, demanding to be let in so that it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they weren't? They were already on our front yard and Mom had locked the door. Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron door knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than the blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always uses when talking to Dad. Mom, what exactly didn't you understand when I told you never slam the door? Anton, I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, mere 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left in my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Mom, where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to, I couldn't read that. Can I go back? I'm just gonna leave it. I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out, Mom, your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? Anton, there was someone chasing me, I thought. I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked up into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant. She covered her mouth with her hand. Mom, look over there at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I heard something scratch the door just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Almost got attacked by a gang of wolves, y'all. Come on now. Dogs? Just a small pack of strays, with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Mom, oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you. Anton, they were chasing me like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. Mom, what if they attack Olya? Anton, Mom, I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Anton, Mom, look, they're alive. Mom, huh? What? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Mom sighed in annoyance and felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten, of course. A darkened, sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. It seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present the clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in the morning? It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away. That's got a lot of blood in it. Like the officer had told us to. Mom, look. Mom, ew. A shadow of doubt slowly crept into my mom's controlled face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away. Mom, stop this moment. Olya will go insane if she hears you. She's already has trouble sleeping, and she whines all the time. And you joke around like this? At the moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Mom, come here, my boy who cried wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. Anton, I already took one during breakfast. Mom, don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and Dad would have even given you a good whipping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with the similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. That's tap water, buddy. Anton, maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters and Olga's owl. Am I going mad? Anton, what's happening to me? Oh, that's a Xanax, buddy. You're tripping. Either the pill had an immediate effect or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me. Yeah, this guy, this is really sad, y'all. This is turning into a very sad story. Bringing yawny indifference along with it. Mom, Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Mom, take off your coat. Are you asleep? Anton, no, Mom, I was just thinking. Mom, about what, I wonder? Anton, it's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with his suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son, and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Mom, is everything all right? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window. Anton, I'm all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Mom, fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. Yeah, it's called cotton mouth, bud. A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed into my home clothes and stopped before the sink and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Yeah, try looking at, seeing how dilated your eyes are. That'll be the dead giveaway. Then I went upstairs. Jafar and Lago's voices died down. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. Okay, let's see what we can investigate in here. Oh my gosh, a lot. Let's see what he's reading. Monster, ghosts, UFOs. Encyclopedias are Paranormal Phenomenon and Roseman Publishing. I've learned about the Loch Ness Monster, Medusa Gorgon, and Bigfoot from there. Olya is always scared of the book. She could barely handle sifting through the monster and alien sections with me, but the middle part where they start to talk about ghosts really freaked her out. I even remember hunting ghosts after I'd read that book. I measured the distance between items on my table every evening and checked if they moved due to some supernatural force come the morning. They didn't. But to be honest, what was I expecting? To meet Casper? Okay. Let's see about the dinosaurs, y'all. My Triceratops figure. I know about all sorts of dinosaurs, velociraptors, Afrovenators, and nope, I ain't gonna try that one, y'all. I ain't even gonna try that one. I remember going to the movies to see Jurassic Park back when we still lived in the city and taking pictures with the T-Rex in the hall. It turned its head and roared. It was awesome. And next to it was Robotech Transformer. I love this cartoon. When a jet fighter speeds up in the intro among the sounds of blaster fire, you know your next 20 minutes will surely be amazing. Zentradi space station is captured. Rick, get ready for battle. Okay. Let's see the window. The forest didn't look as grim during the day. Entangled tree branches in the distance and the snowy field between our house and the forest brought the sleepiness to my eyes. But sometimes I will still catch myself looking at the window at the icy treetops instead of doing my homework. I've dreamt of becoming an artist since Dad bought me my first comic book. Fly magazine was the coolest. I especially liked the big space-related edition with aliens, monsters, and that funny episode about Gendarme? I don't know. I started drawing all kinds of stuff since that day, and I seem to be getting pretty good at it. One of my letters even got published in Fly once. Maybe someday they'll even publish my comic. Let's check in the drawer. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. Okay. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed. And only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of snails. The room's corners bent, and the only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor, just like a savant of sorts. Anton. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Anton. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, and if there was a thick layer of darkness there, they're not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. Ba-dum, beat my heart, controlled by the medication. The wind sang in the field with a choir of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Olya, gotcha! Anton, I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olya's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a child woven from light. Olya, I saw everything. Anton, oh really? Olya, what did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. Anton, it's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, Olya, you stole something and hid it there. Are you a thief? Anton, what? Don't be stupid. Anton, I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to my mind of that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? It didn't belong to the tree, man. Someone lost it. From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Olya, then show me. Anton, swear that you won't tell anyone, then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. Olya, I swear on Mom's heart, an oath she heard once in the movies about the pioneers we've watched. Anton, don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Olya, this is someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. Anton, a certain boy lost it and got lost himself. Now you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? Olya, he must be really cold out there. Olya, will they find him? Anton, they will. Anton, the police are going house to house showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. And why are they going to houses, not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. Anton, the police aren't scared of anything. Yeah, right, flashed in my clouded mind. Did they actually check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the mitten? True. Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. Anton, we may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff like in Field of Wonders. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic for her. Olya, what if the owl got him? Anton, nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with the utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. Anton, stay away from the forest. I think it's, how should I put it? It's cursed or something. Olya, just like in a fairy tale? Anton, no, not like that. More like in that spooky tape Mom and Dad are hiding from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window. Olya, I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you? Anton, no, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't get worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her small fire would be gone. Olya, you're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. And I'm like a princess in a tower. I can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. Anton, you're wrong. No one's ever died of boredom, and you have me in your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. Olya, you know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we can go and play together like we used to. Anton, yeah, and if you make them as small as bugs, we could place them in a little box. Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Olya, Tony, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue won over my desire to be with my little sister, and I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. Anton, I'm too tired. I don't want to. Olya, come on. It's so boring alone and Mom's always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of our tapes by heart at this point, says Anton. Olya, not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. Let's go. Anton, maybe a bit later. Olya, should I tell you how it ends? Anton, let's leave that for tomorrow. Olya, I won't tell you tomorrow. Olya, I know, let's play hide and seek. Anton, no, Olya. Olya, then draw me a dino. Anton, Olya, please. Olya, draw it. Anton, will you leave me alone already? I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken back. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What happened to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. Anton, alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. Olya, I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hand on her soft head. Anton, let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Olya, boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. Anton, I promise I won't. and I'll draw you a full triceratops later. Olya, hooray! Triceratops. Close enough. Oh, Anton, well, close enough. Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. Olya, I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you'll rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Anton, alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll get yelled at again. Olya, wanna bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere in the nightstand, go look for it. Olya disappeared in the doorway, and I dragged my feet to the neighboring room. Somewhere in the freaky sound. Let's see. The old Phantom TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up with the familiar white noise started dancing in the back screen. I almost reached out to turn the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It's a dark taiga forest just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few minutes later, this scenery was gone, overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some rogue signal? Local TV station only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I used to always watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna. What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya had asked me to find the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her, but in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. Okay, well, if it comes down to a choice, I sifted through the shelves of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to this shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from this box. Tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. The rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I notice that the clouds underneath us part, bearing the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wings are no longer able to hold us and Olya. Olya, you haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. Anton, no, come sit. Olya, Mom and Dad are arguing again. Anton, they are going through rough times. Olya, rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow in the dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog. Olya, maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. Anton, yeah, right. Olya, I'll have my own dog in the Neverland, and a cat and a parrot. Olya smeared a slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Have you lost all of your baby teeth? Anton, obviously. Olya frowned, deep in thought. Olya, Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to this land with adult teeth? Anton, we'll think of something. Olya, we'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. Anton, and why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. Hewed Mom, they did that before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's, Anton says. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured the bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook, as if she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one ever argues over little things, where no one ever listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. It felt like I was dreaming with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Olya, Tony, shut the curtains fast. Anton, why? No one's watching you. Olya, it's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. I did my best to not look outside towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches escaping the snow. Well, yeah, Tony, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. Well, yeah, but the owl exists. Honestly, it does. Well, yeah, do you believe me? You do believe me, right? Oh, yeah, that comes every night, and... I swiftly grab Olya's hand and look her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Anton, yes, I believe you, alright. Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so just end up getting mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens, and don't look out the window. Well, yeah, but it wants me to look. Anton, doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed, like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. Anton, I'll get tired. It'll get tired of watching and fly away. It was madness, but after everything that's happened recently, I was more and more inclined to believe Olya's owl existed. Okay. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was headed to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my little sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snorting lightly, resting her chin on the side of her bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when my mom peeked into my room. Mom, enough playing around. It's your first day at school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? Adults think everything is so simple, as if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. I covered myself with a blanket up to my neck and listened to the house humming to something invisible rustling in the corners. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just part of growing up and I can't finally understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that was my walls. Some ethereal entity wandered the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on in the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. Thank you for completing episode 1 of Tiny Bunny. Did you enjoy it? Do you want to know what happened next? We're already working hard on the continuation of the story. That was it, y'all. We completed the episode 1 of Tiny Bunny, and I gotta say, it was pretty cool. It's pretty much like a novel, right? So I'm going to come back to the main menu and just hit credits right here. It doesn't really have a whole lot of credits, so I'll leave this up on the screen while I talk about it, just before ending the stream. Oh, by the way, Pertinax88, thank you so much for the follow. That is very much appreciated. Yeah, it was good. I mean, the story was probably like, I don't know, 8 out of 10 or so. I mean, it's from the perspective of a little kid, so there's that part of the thing. It's not exactly my forte in stories, but I do like horror, so that part of it was good. The animations were pretty good. I mean, it wasn't bad. The artistry was good and everything like that. The jump scare, which there was only one, obviously, in episode 1. There's probably one in each episode. I gotta assume when they're doing a thing like this with multiple episodes. It was good. It got me. Like, it worked. And also, obviously, as you can hear, we got the stream music going, so we're not like listening to the crazy, probably super intense music of the game. We're just listening to like chill beats, so kind of takes you a little bit out of the element, but it was good. I would say overall, like, story included everything, like the investigation part of it and everything that goes into it. They put a lot of content into it with you being able to examine everything. I would say overall I give it a 7 out of 10. Like overall, if it culminates into a really good ending, that could probably go up to a 9 and possibly a 10. It depends if they have really good story hooks and, like, you know, things that make you wonder what's gonna happen next, or like there's like a big plot twist. But anyways, I'm going to end the video and the stream off there. So I want to take a second to thank Romeo Kilm for stopping in the stream. Thank you, Romeo, I appreciate you. And I want to take a second to thank Magic Matt from the Matt Pack. Good dude. He's a streamer. Go check out his streams. Very entertaining. He's a good dude. So go check those guys out. They both stream. I want to take a second. Thank you, everyone on Twitch who is watching. I really appreciate your viewership. It's helping me to get affiliate. I need 3 average viewers. So anyone watching or anyone that stopped in, thank you so much. And anyone who is watching this on YouTube, thank you very much for your viewership. Your view is greatly appreciated. Don't forget, if you like the content, to subscribe. But the main thing is, I appreciate you stopping by and watching. It's going to be Neo Unstoppable signing off. Y'all have a great one.